moving forward. So that way we continue to keep building what we're trying to get done offensively. Probably the biggest thing. Second thing was continue to get our guys getting healthy, continue to work on our timing, all those things we continue to keep doing and building the offense.
From the Nebraska game?
The third downs, 1 for 11. I mean, that's inexcusable. It's bad. It's on me, and we got to be better. I got to be better, and I got to put our kids in a better situation, and we'll do that moving forward.
Passing game kind of struggled in that game. Just where do you feel like a lot of those troubles lied against Nebraska?
Well, I mean, there was several things that happened, obviously. Sometimes where Brandon could have been a bit better, sometimes where our routes could have been better, sometimes where, once again, man, it's a combination of things. A lot of times it's never, very hardly I ever see it's just one guy. If it's one guy, you make the change and you make the move and you try to get it rectified. So there was multiple things, and we tried to get it cleaned up this past week.
And then starter, how's he doing to this point, Brandon?
How's Brandon doing?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's doing pretty good. Is there things that we need to get cleaned up? Absolutely, but I mean, there's some things where he's been really good, and there's some things I'm sure he'd like to have back. But I think it goes back to what we talked about last week or week and a half ago. He's 8 games into his career, so there's some gelling. There's some things that need to take place, and I think we're in the middle of that. At the same time, he's shown some signs where I think he can be a really good quarterback before it's all said and done, and he's on pace. We just got to get some things cleaned up, not just with him, but with the wideouts and the protections and everything that goes hand to hand with all that.
Last week, Dre Brown was announced as a semifinalist for the Campbell Award. Just talk a couple minutes about Dre's contribution to the program and what he's like as a person in general.
Dre Brown is one of my favorite guys on this football team just because he's had to persevere as much pain, injuries, ups and downs, highs and lows as probably as anybody on this football team. And my heart goes out to guys like that who've stuck through it, who are seeing it all the way through, and then when they see it, then also having success individually at his position like he is. Dre will be the first one to tell you he's always a team player now. He's not about himself. He's 100% orange and blue, and he's one of my favorite guys on the team. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but you can't help but not have a guy that have your heart go out to a guy like him. So he does everything right. He does everything you ask of. So every accolade he can get, he's well deserving.
Is Dre's rise and his story something you can kind of encourage Epstein with? Because you go, hey, look, he did the same thing you're kind of going through now, and you can see at the end of the day it worked out for him, and it may be able to work out for you too.
I hope so. I mean, Mike's got a mindset that's a lot like Dre's, where he's inflappable. I mean, he's getting hit each and every year, it seems like, with something that tries to set him back, and it's not of his doing. It's something that's out of his control, out of his hands, but yet the dude's got a fighter's mentality, and just saw him this weekend when he got back, and then saw him just yesterday. He's on his crutches. He said, "Coach, don't worry, I'll be here next year ready to roll." So, and I believe him because that's the mindset he has.
Teams have been bringing a lot more extra pressure against Brandon, making him uncomfortable in the pocket. Just how do you feel like he's fared against that?
Well, I mean, I would like to think that's what teams are going to do. That's what most people do, is they try to pressure your quarterback. Once again, there's some things that we got to get cleaned up, that he's got to do better, see better. There's some protection issues that we got to get cleaned up as well that can help his situation. So, as a whole unit, we need to be better. Correct.
Out there played against Nebraska, when the defense is in that situation, it might be wearing down. Does that impact what you're considering at all from an offensive standpoint?
Going into that game, myself and Lovey talked. Nebraska was huge up front, and we thought that the best way to attack them defensively, based off the film that we saw throughout the course of the season, was we had to try to create a tempo, maybe speed it up a little bit, which we knew could potentially put our defense on the field possibly a little bit more. But, we thought if we could score enough points and generate enough points that, we could hopefully hold them in the fourth quarter. So, it was a risk that we took, obviously. Would you do it again? I don't know. I mean, it's one of them deals where I think if we convert on for third down, if we convert on third down 40% of the time, that's a different game. It's a different game. But we didn't, so it is what it is. And it's our job to get it corrected.
How much are you involved in the clock management late at the end of the first half? Like, what were you guys trying to do late in the first half when you let the clock run at 28 seconds when you're probably 20 yards away from McCourt's territory?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the last thing I think you wanted to do is they had timeouts. We did too. We had a 7-point lead. I think one thing you're thinking of is, yeah, could you go down and score? Yeah, but you also risk the chance of putting the ball back in Adrian Martinez's hands and giving them momentum before they go in the end zone. So there's a lot of talk going into it. When we didn't get much on the screen pass, it kind of said, listen, let's be safe here, let's be careful, and went that way. Listen, how many we lose by? 4. If they go down, if we kick a field goal, we still lost by 1. So to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we moved on past that. I mean, ifs and buts, whatever. So, but at the same time, I think if we'd have got a little bit more yardage off our screen pass when we was trying to attack there at one point, I think it'd be a little bit different mindset.
Coach, the last road trip went well. I guess we got the win. How much does that help going forward for this game?
Say it one more time. Sorry, Bob.
Last road trip went well. You guys won, got the win.
Yeah.
How much does it help confidence-wise for the guys as you go forward at Minnesota?
I mean, obviously, I think any win that you have obviously bolsters your guys' confidence, whether it's on the road or at home. But by us being able to win on the road last couple weeks ago, kind of sheds that. And we won at Rutgers last year, so it's not like they haven't won on the road. But we know what's ahead of us. We know we got a great team coming in, or actually we're going into their place, 4-0. It's a great opportunity, and made the corrections from Nebraska. It's time to move forward, look ahead at the opportunity you got in front of us, because it's a great opportunity.
Have you been there?
Never been there.
Okay.
I was in the old building.
You guys thrashed that defense last year, right? But after that point, it was kind of a turning point for them too. They got things back on track.
Yeah.
How much has their defense changed now from what you guys saw last year?
Much better. It seems like they're tackling a lot better. They're in position, probably better than what they were. They're playing hard. They're riding a wave right now. They've won 7 in a row, however many it was from the last 3-4 games last year, then undefeated this year. So, they got some momentum going, which is good. That's why it's a great opportunity for our guys, because I think our guys should have confidence that we match up against them as well. So hopefully we can go up, be healthy, and play a solid 4 quarters with our offense and our defense and special teams moving forward and see what happens.
To piggyback off that question, as far as the play caller goes, obviously you had success last season against Minnesota. How much do you watch that film and use it this year?
Well, I mean, you watch it a little bit, but it's different because it's a different coordinator. Even though it's the same similar background, he's a little more aggressive than what they did in the past. So you probably rely more on this year's film because those are the players you're going to face. Some of the guys are different than what you saw last year. So, you look at it for reference points, but it's not what you really study.
Yeah, just one more question. Coach Rod, we got the players back there. If anyone wants to come now and get them, we got them set up. There's a final question.
To have a quarterback like Brandon that can sling a little bit, how has that maybe changed what you do as a play caller, just to have maybe more in the bag that you can go to this year compared to last?
Well, the one thing we're trying to do, obviously, I was happy with the way our run game got off 2 weeks ago. Disappointed in our throw game because I thought we'd been throwing the ball at times pretty well. So we always talk about being balanced, and being balanced means being able to run it or throw it effectively whenever you want. And, I don't want to be one-dimensional. I want to be able to utilize our quarterback's strengths, and Brandon can throw it. So, we got to be better. So it does help in terms of pushing the ball down the field at times. It's our job to continue to kind of create matchups in what we're doing. I think we got to be smart and keep feeding Reggie, keep feeding the run game, and kind of build off of that. But, Brandon is a different dynamic quarterback than what AJ was. To me, just kind of keep playing to his strengths.